Come quick, reel it in! Can't you hear the music? That's a 4/4 string ostinato in D minor! Every sailor knows it means death! Reel it in before it's too late! There you go, you stinking field trap! Stop it, please! I'm begging ya!
Happy Pride, everyone. As far back as human history goes, and even beyond that, there has been a constant unifying force that pulls at our hearts and brings us together. A thing that fills you with emotion and holds you close, whose melodious hymns and harmonious melodies we keep returning to, for us to claim as our own, and to fight for whose music is the best. Which is me, it's mine. And I'll prove it to everyone, right here in today's draft list. That's right, we're coming at you with our bopping lists of fresh beats, yo. The boys and I have come together to bring you our list of OSTs. I'm Sammy, your DJ hostess for the night, and soon-to-be winner of today's draft list. Now boys, why don't you introduce yourselves?
I'm the Break It Down Pixel Doctor who's down to clown and all through the town.
I am Deadlock, and I'm just shaking my head at all the antics going on.
And I am Fexic, the gentleman of the classical persuasion.
Deluxe the dude in the corner in that one meme.
Deadlock is the wallflower at the school dance.
Anyway, Sam, since you did our intro, that obviously shows that you're, and obviously because people can see it on the screen, you're going first. You might, by the way, I hope you enjoyed the new format. We're trying that out. Let me know what you think. Don't forget, down in the comments to vote below at the end of the video. I will remind you at the end of the video to do the votes. But for now, Sam.
Okay. Well, since I'm finally first in one of these draft lists, I might as well just hit hard and snipe something from some of you. With Final Fantasy XIV.
Wasn't on my list, but I will agree with it.
Yeah, I'll concede. That's a good pick.
Yeah, it was also not on my list, but I don't blame you for the pick.
This game is filled to the brim with monumental memories from different games throughout the entire franchise, with callbacks to its own history, its future, and having even its own songs just for its own little areas and everything. There's nothing in Final Fantasy XIV that wouldn't work outside of this game. And just the sheer variety and the amount, like the simple battle track music, to the most epic Sinatras in a dungeon. You got basically everything you need. What more could you ask for?
How about the few times I actually go vocal?
That too.
Like, two personal ones for me from that game would be obviously the main one, that's Answers, which is both tragic and hopeful at the same time. As well as one that's just a playful sorrow that you wouldn't expect for the theme of the dragons being Dragon Song.
And death on afterthought to those who fight for naught.
I mean, you also got to appreciate the remixes and remasters of old songs too. like the redone
Oh.
version of Terra's theme from Final Fantasy VI when you ride the mech that you get after you complete the main story for the DLCs.
'15 was really good with that too, like the tracks you could play while you're riding around in the regalia.
Also, Battle of the Bridges.
That also a classic one. Glad to be redone. But 14 it's almost like a cheat sheet of a choice because it uses a lot of the old songs, but has so many because of how big it is.
Is it a cheat sheet or is it just that good?
No, it's definitely a cheat sheet because it has also so many collaborations with games that weren't even around when it came out.
But
As well as things that are just not a part of it, such as Nier Automata or even Fall Guys.
Monster Hunter 2, don't forget.
They even
Yep, that
Monster
too.
Hunter's in there.
But like that just goes to like to show like how much like broad it is when you actually get down to it.
That is a powerful start right from the beginning. All right, I gotta flow the beat a little bit here. So I don't think I can quite contest with this the size of that soundtrack, but I can go for the impact of it at least. And I'm gonna copy your homework a little bit here because I'm gonna steal songs from a previous entry on in the series as well. I'm going with Majora's Mask.
Ah, you fucker.
Can you blame me? It takes some of the best songs from Ocarina of Time and uses them, and then it has so many of its own, and then you sometimes recontextualizing some of the songs, like the Song of Healing in this game compared to Ocarina of Time is very different, even though it's the same song.
Mm-hmm.
So again, some examples of some good tracks. Like I said, the Song of Healing. Of course, the Fairy's Fountain is always a good one. If we want more of a... the Clock Tower theme is also good. Again, same remix of as the... But just the and then one of my favorites, the Astral Observatory. Majora's
Those are good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Majora's,
those are
Good ones.
Majora's Mask has one of the best soundtracks in the Zelda series. Personally, my favorite. Although I haven't played some of the games, so there's a bit of a gray area there for
We'll
me
fix
at
that,
least.
don't worry.
We're getting there.
And
We're
what I
working
like-
on it.
And what I like, you cited Clocktown as an example. There are 3 different versions of that track depending on which day, like in-game day, you're on.
Not only that,
So
you
that-
have the different songs you can play with the different instruments too with the ocarina, which all do count as separate songs.
Yep.
It is
Like that's
great.
just good attention to detail.
It is great to have the backing of Ocarina of Time on back of it, as it's able to build off of what they've established in that game in order to grow and have a little bit of a more mature experience, even with their music.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if I recall
Zelda's-
correctly, Majora's Mask was made within a year, so some of these new tracks had to be made very quickly.
Because they wanted to get the most of what they could with Ocarina of Time and all its assets, which is basically how Majora's Mask's development went.
Yeah, but let's be real. It doesn't play like a rush project.
No, it
really-
Not at
doesn't.
all.
It does
It
not,
doesn't.
and you couldn't tell by the music either, because a lot of these songs are original. They only take a handful of stuff from Ocarina of Time. So
I mean, no,
the-
even though it's reusing a bunch of assets, it still managed to breathe new life into it all.
And those tracks capture the ambiance of their locations very well, like Ikana Valley, Deku Palace, and Stone Tower, just to name a few.
Yeah, Stone Tower is easily like one of the highlights.
And then, of course, Calling the Four Giants, like that is power. That song is absolute power.
it is that song again. Depending on where the game, that song like context-wise feels so different. The first time it's almost creepy, and then as you further get along, it gets kind of sad when you learn the relationship between Skull Kid and the Giants.
Right.
Yeah,
but
they had a year to put this all together.
In that
and
last scene where you have to call all four of them to buy you that time to get up in there and finish the job, it is like power. You are rooting for those oddly shaped monstrosities.
Yeah, I think Zelda Majora's Mask specifically does like the context of the music changing is probably does it the best of any game that I can think of.
Yeah, Majora's Mask does musical storytelling very, very well.
I mean, what'd you expect from a game that always has instruments like a central theme?
Sure.
Well, even then, like Majora's theme, like as soon as you hear that, you know somebody's day is about to be ruined.
Yeah, you know things that are going to go horribly wrong very shortly.
The soundtrack is both good at making you feel, things feel mysterious, dreadful, and creepy at the same time.
Or D, all of the above.
Yeah, and then it still has the random songs like the shops. That's still super fun, and like the game stores and stuff. Like they're just random bits of just joy in there.
Of course.
That being said, Deadlock, I'm passing the beat off to you.
Chris, I'm stealing Kingdom Hearts 2 from you.
You mother.
This is payback for stealing somebody from me.
You know, it's.
I knew if I don't, it's going to be taken, and it's too good not to take.
You know, it's fine. I can't be mad. Like, it's a good pick. That's why it was on my list. So go forth, do your damage.
I haven't played
Oh
2
my
yet, Deadlock. You gotta explain some of this stuff to me. Give me some soundtracks I could listen to.
Well, here's the thing: like most of the Kingdom Hearts games, also just like revisiting like old themes and just bringing them into like a new remix. Kingdom Hearts 2 is like one of the few that is like mostly original within its own series. And it's that originality that really shines for me, because any just town theme from any of the worlds would be nice, but Twilight Town especially just feels like this nice, warm, peaceful, just oh my god, I just want to just sit here and just listen to it all day.
What was that one called? It's Sunset something.
Ooh, I can't remember, but you know which one I'm talking about.
I don't, but editing me will know by the time this video goes out because it's already played.
But then again, this is also a hack and slash, so we also have to have some killer battle themes also, such as oh my god, what was the name of it? I have it listed here. Oh, that's what it was. A freaking Tension Rising. And
Very
you
nice.
could definitely feel it rising, all right.
I think they put that song in Smash Ultimate, if I remember correctly. I remember it sounding good.
That sounds accurate.
And then we have some actual favorite boss themes, such as Vim and Vigor. The Other Promise, which is just so sad with the context. Even on its own. And then, of course, there's probably a lot of people's personal favorites, the 13th Struggle.
Yeah, that one's pretty fire.
You can just tell by listening to this, like, everything is going out of control, things are going horribly wrong, and you just gotta pick up the pieces quick.
I like how you mentioned The Other Promise. That's actually one that if you're not playing Final Mix, you actually wouldn't otherwise have access to.
It is actually in base Kingdom Hearts 2, but yeah, it is just for a cutscene. The fight itself isn't.
You're right. There was that cutscene. Okay. But
honestly, having the fight with it just makes it all the more better.
But what I like specifically about that one is I enjoy tracks that take like a track you've already heard, and they change it slightly and give it whole new context. Because The Other Promise is basically a rinse and repeat of Roxas's
theme.
Yes,
which is fitting because this is literally his boss theme.
Right, but they hype it up, they add a lot more depth and bass to it, and they turn it into a boss fight song. And the only other time I've seen something handled with that level of precision was when is Kingdom Hearts 3's version of Vector to the Heavens, which was amazing.
Both Other Promise as well as Xion's. Because Vector to the Heavens was also in 384.
Well, that you're thinking, Hearts as One is the track you're thinking of, where it takes The Other Promise and Vector to the Heavens and turns it into one, and that one is absolute peak.
But like as I said earlier, like so many of the future games have songs that come back from this one also. So even if you have like your favorites, like from there, they still come from here as well.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just want one more, just to top off the cherry on top. Final Mix also has a bunch of super bosses of its own. And how about Rage Awakened? Rage Unleashed? One of the two. It's the super boss of the entire Final Mix. It is one of the hardest in the series, too. Dear God, does this thing slap!
And there is a lot to be said about the track that plays when you're dealing with your villain group. And Organization 13 has a track, easily enough named Organization 13, that is just so simple in the sense that it's just a very slow kind of piano number, but so foreboding and very well representative of the organization as a whole.
Yeah, you can just tell, like, even though these guys have like no hearts, they've got a plan and are ready to enact it quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good choice. If anybody was going to snipe KH2 for me, Deadlock, I'm glad it was the guy who has the Organization 13 face as his avatar.
Well, to be fair, I couldn't snipe it since I've only played the first one, which, by the way, Traverse Town's theme still one of my favorites. So I know how good the first one is.
Just wait till you listen to Twilight Towns. You'll love that one.
I do have to say, it's weird to me how the people with no hearts are called nobodies, but the people with the hearts with no bodies are called heartless.
This is a whole conversation that MJ and I have like 3 times a year.
It probably more than that. Maybe 3 times every 2 months. Anyway,
convoluted story aside.
Delic, you're bad at transitioning. Delic, spinning the record off to you, Chris.
Very good. Well, I'm gonna hopefully keep it laying on strong, possibly with one that the Deadlock might have had. But I feel like if I don't say it, somebody else is gonna. I'm gonna go with the track from Elder Scrolls V: Skyrim.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm mixed on this
specifically.
one.
Yeah, specifically the tracks I would put forward, at least that I found particularly moving from my experience, are the opening theme, Dragonborn. From classic. Past to present. The what?
I say a classic.
Mm-hmm. Then there's From Past to Present. And then one of the battle themes, Blood and Steel. So musical ambiance is very much a huge part of what this game is, especially when you're wandering around Skyrim just aimlessly exploring and you don't really know what you're going to find out there on your first playthrough. Now, after you awaken to the fact that you are indeed the Dragonborn, the opening theme can fill you with either dread or a sense of profound excitement, because the only other time it plays is when you get into battle with an actual dragon, and they're some of the strongest opponents in the game. But more than that, a lot of the tracks, especially when you're just in a town or in somebody's house or one of the Jarl's palaces, it's an odd sense of calm that takes you away from the chaos that's going around outside, especially if you do so just coming off of a battle with, say, a frost troll or a pair of giants that you may not have been entirely ready for, and you just stumbled into their territory by accident. And there's only so much space you can backpedal before you back up against a rock or something, and that bone club is coming right at your face. But for every, I guess, moment that you're in this experience, from start to whatever your finish in Skyrim is, I was going to say the end of the Alduin quest, but that's rarely the end for most people. Like, the music is basically the soundtrack to your life as the Dragonborn, and every single one has this uncanny ability to capture the feeling of the moment very well.
Everyone here, maybe with the exception of maybe Sam, knows I am not a fan of Bethesda games, and even less so of Skyrim. But it does do the environmental, ambiance music pretty well.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? It's not for everybody. I personally have logged many hours, as I've said ad nauseum. I've left the music on every single playthrough, and I've loved pretty much every second of it. I'll bet you I can flip through the OST now. I wouldn't be able to find a single dud where I could point at and go, yeah, I don't like that one.
In all honesty, there's a reason that people get lost in the moment when it comes to Skyrim and other Bethesda games. It's because the music carries you through and gives you that sense of wonder and excitement, even if it's a game that you've played 15 times over Skyrim.
Take no Starfield.
Like even now, again, throwing back to Dragonborn, just the opening theme that plays when you're on the main menu, a combination of just how badass the lyrics, and of course it's sung in Dova, I forget the name, but it's the dragon language. But it's in addition to just sounding cool, you've got that the chanting in the background, like the Nordic chants, and it just adds this sense of not necessarily creepy, but this almost ancient ambiance to what you're listening to, and it actually makes you want to get up, get your sword and shield and go out and be the Dragonborn.
Speaking of the Song of the Dragonborn, you were talking earlier about the motifs that Kingdom Hearts like to reuse over and over to actually just build up on the actual pieces also. And it does it also in Skyrim when you actually go to Sovngarde, and that one takes the main theme and makes it so much more foreboding and ominous.
Yes, it does. And did you know that those statues actually follow you and look at you?
Again, it's just you're in the land of the dead. I would hope this theme would match.
And to throw another layer on that same thought cake, Dragonborn itself, in the final, I guess, bridge to the final chorus, actually takes from the actual Elder Scrolls theme. I first heard it in Oblivion, but it basically does a reprise of that before breaking into the final chorus of Dragonborn.
A lot of love went into the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'll
went
leave
into
it at.
all of these.
But yeah, it's a great soundtrack. I love every single one of them, and again, I probably have more hours logged into Skyrim than anything else, though I expect BG3 might come and eclipse it here pretty soon.
It's a good game.
Well, Chris, Remix, what's your next pick?
Indeed. So going back down, let's see, which of these has the most likelihood of being sniped? I'm going to have to... You know what? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and plug my favorite game, Shadow of the Colossus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was on my contenders.
I'm sure it was. And again, most of you are the one, Deadlock, whom I fear sniping my picks the most this time around. So the ones I'm putting up for consideration are Prologue, And that's the first track you hear as soon as the game starts, and it's, to this day, like I can't even just hear the first 5 seconds of prologue without thinking of that eagle flying onto screen and off towards the horizon. Then you've got my personal favorite battle theme from the game, Counterattack. Which, if you're not excited for the fight you're in while listening to that, either adjust your hearing aid or there is something clinically wrong with you.
Absolutely. That is easily one of the best when you actually get down to the gritty and dirty of this game.
That one was so good, Team 4-Star used it. And then
Nuclear launch inbound.
And then my final pick is The Sunlit Earth. So this is the one that plays during the end credits, and while not necessarily one for excitement, this is the one your adventure's over. You won, I guess, for want of a better term. I don't know if you'd call Wander's ending winning per se, but it's a very almost like oddly calming track after everything that you've just guided Wander through. But the soundtrack as a whole, I think, is amazing. I mean, a lot of the times when you're just riding around through the Forbidden Lands, you don't have any musical accompaniment at all. It's just you and the sound of Agro's hoofbeats on the ground. But when the music decides it wants to come in, boy howdy does it ever come in.
It took me a minute to remember because I've only played Shadow Closet once, so it's not like I have the soundtrack dedicated to heart. I forgot there was even music to the bosses because I was just so focused on trying to fight the bosses. Some of them were difficult, not like hard difficult, because they're mostly like platforming puzzle challenges.
Yeah, my friend James actually is the one who turned me onto this game, like got me or introduced me to it, and then after I got it, he and I would actually do multiple, like either he would come over my house or I would go over his, and we would see A, how quickly we can complete the game, and B, how like all of the stuff in the Forbidden Land that we could go and discover, because we weren't we didn't use the internet like to look up like where all the lizards and everything were. So we tried to find it ourselves, and we would spend just hours just aimlessly wandering around, fighting the Colossi and exploring the world. And this soundtrack was there for all of it. So this one I find particularly recognizable when I hear one of the tracks.
I think it's a solid
One more I will add to that one, though, is Messenger from Behind. You are running for your life when you hear
that's the one that plays during 10, right? The worm?
Yes.
Oh,
you are running for your life.
Fuck that thing.
I mean, it really helps with the team behind the game, who also made both Ico and The Last Guardian. So it's just like their whole thing is just bringing the atmosphere to you, and oh my god,
as well as the current situation you're in into song.
Yeah, they do sound so well, which I think in Ico's case might have saved it and distracted the player from the fact that you're basically playing a 3-hour-long escort mission.
Sometimes games are just that fun. Sometimes the music allows you to carry it.
And Shadow of the Colossus' OST does that for me.
What about you, Deadlock?
What game sound does it for you?
Yes.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm
emotion?
feeling a little... I'm feeling a little nostalgic here. So I'm going to go with a soundtrack that, even to this day, I can't say captures its magic quite like Spyro the Dragon. Right off to the bat, the main theme wholly sells you on what kind of game you're going into. It's loud, it's exciting, it's adventurous. You're just ready to just go off and just have fun. And that's just what this whole game is. Like, even all the way to the treetops when you're just speeding along the freaking paths. Or you're just going through lofty castle and it just feels like you're just floating. One of my personal favorites, like Twilight Harbor, which is practically a war zone. Like, each level theme you could just pick and just be so satisfied and just in the moment as you're just exploring through these places. And if you really don't think this soundtrack is that good, even Nickelodeon borrowed from it. I'm not even kidding. If you've ever seen The Amanda Show, the theme of Wizard Peaks is the exact same song.
Wait, that's actually a huge lore drop right there. Hold on. Editing me, put a comparison in right here.
Yeah, for real.
Whoa, the similarities.
Well, we'll see when the video comes out, but crazy if true.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this whole the music soundtrack of this entire game is just magical. You are just having fun throughout the entire adventure. And if you are just not getting earworm just from listening to the soundtrack, to borrow a line from Chris over here, you need to get your hearing aid checked.
Yeah, I remember, I think it's up on 2 years ago now. I was playing I played a bit of the Reignited trilogy. It was mostly me watching AJ, and then I took over for the flying missions.
Oh yeah, the speedways. Those are good too.
Mm-hmm. But yes, I will concede good tracks all around.
Again, this is another one I haven't played yet, so...
The Spyro games are very fun and whimsical, and the music just carrying you along with it is so great. It makes you want to just play. Just have fun.
I wish more games would remember that these days. Just like, we're here to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And this soundtrack just screams have fun.
Yeah, we need to bring it back to the old days, you know, Xbox 360, N64, GameCube, PlayStation 1 and 2, the good old days.
I was gonna say Spyro was PS1.
No, yeah. I know. I'm just saying those were like when games focused on fun. I feel like those are the consoles but nowadays it's all microtransactions and stuff. Whatever. We're not doing a tangent about that here, but point being, the games just don't hit like they used to.
Save that for the podcast.
you mean our Digimon Cyber Sleuth playthrough? Because trust me, I think we touched on that. If not, we will.
I said the podcast.
It's pretty much what it boils down to.
So, Doc, how do you respond to the classics?
I already started off with a classic. Let's be fair. I started with Majora's Mask. You can only get so much more classic than that. But I don't want to be sniped because I have two picks here. I have one pick that I think is better than the rest of my picks, but I think it's the least likely to be sniped. But you know what? There's a game in Icon we haven't mentioned on this channel even once yet. And I think that's insane. And you know what? He's got a lot of good soundtracks. People are going to argue there's a better soundtrack, but I haven't played that game, so I can't pick that one because it just wouldn't hit the same for me. So you know what? I'm going with Sonic Heroes.
Okay.
That's a nice one. That is a very nice one.
Very nice.
I mean, pretty much any Sonic game.
You had me worried there for a second.
I was just saying.
What goes up?
What goes up must come down. Hear the beat, don't touch the Yeah, no, I mean, you can't go wrong with any Sonic games. OST, I mean, especially the 3D Sonics where they really go hard. But I know most people are going to say they go with Sonic Adventure 1 or 2, but I haven't played those games yet. So I'm going with Sonic Heroes, which I think arguably has a better soundtrack, but that's just me. I mean, obviously you have the intro theme that we're just singing. In terms of levels, you got one of my least favorite levels, but one of the best themes is the second haunted house theme, where the theme inverts, so it has like two themes in one.
Mystic Mansion.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. And then honestly, at the third pick, you could really pick anything, but you know what? I'm going with Ocean Palace because that one's just a classic. That's the first song you hear when you're playing the game. It's just Ocean Palace.
Yeah, Final Fortress is my favorite.
Again, you can't go wrong with the soundtrack. I don't think there's one bad song here at all.
I don't, and then, actually, so Final Fortress is my favorite level track, but in terms of favorite across the entire game, What I'm Made Of, hands down.
I'm kind of sad that I never got to fight that one, because I never could figure out the bonus things.
I'll tell you this though, if you want to go for the best team theme, because each individual team has their own theme, so if you want to go with the best one, Team Chaotix. I'm not here to otherwise.
Good. I'm personally a favorite of Team Darks, but you can just have fun with it.
I gotta go with Zach though. I gotta go there with Zach. Chaotix kind of slaps.
I will not deny that.
I haven't played the game since I was a little kid, but even just the memories from back then, it's so fun. It's so upbeat and makes you just want to go, which is what Sonic should do. Get up and run.
Gotta feel that speed.
Yeah, and one of the main reasons I love
quickly.
And one of the main reasons I love What I'm Made Of is it actually gets you juiced for that boss fight. Like, despite the fact that you are facing down like a fuck-mothering metal dragon, that song is like one of the few things that like reignite, or I don't want to say extinguishes the fear and worry of the fight, but gives you that sense of, okay, I can do this. I'm hyped. Let's go.
Oh, I feel like it would have been a disservice if he didn't put any Sonic game on here, which
I had that thought.
It would have been
I still got one in the cylinder. Just you wait.
I had a feeling you would, but again, I haven't played those games yet, so wouldn't be right for me to pick them. But yeah, Sonic Heroes, go listen to the OST and play the game, and give me a remaster.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with Sonic, especially when you bring up the vocal tracks, because I just love singing along to songs with vocal tracks.
We could have a whole video. We could have a whole video that's just a love letter to Crush 40. Let's be real.
That's true.
That's true.
But Sam, I'm done talking about Sonic Heroes for now. We've got 4 S's in a row for games. Would you like to continue it since you are the S person?
But I want to continue with the lyrical songs. I want the words to sing along with. I guess that just that just leaves me with Guilty Gear Strive.
Oh, I'll count it. And also, Guilty Gear Strive.
It's such a banger soundtrack. Just going through different genres of rock, and just each character having their own unique genre, from the chill beats of Axl Low. to the upbeat happiness that is the self-discovery of my girl Bridget.
The town is like me, and there are one voice. We are not there, just watch roll by. There is nowhere to go back and nowhere to go. It's all delusional. Me without me.
And even with the beginning intro song that gets you so hyped to just get in and beat the crap out of somebody with Smell of the Game.
I know who I am. That moon language told me this is who you are. My beard's are so long, my nails are simple and nice. That is me. That is bullshit lazy. Still my heart is blazing. If the words kill me, I don't need a new one under you. Soon you will know. We already know the smell of the game.
They're each such good, hard-hitting songs that go through different genres of rock, and each one is a banger.
I haven't played Guilty Gear Strive yet, but I can attest to how good it is because Smell of the Game is the song that I was going to say. If Sam didn't say it, I had to bring it up because that's the one that makes me really want to play Strive because it's just that good.
I'll add one more to that because while I don't know much about it, you already know the one character from the last draft, and his theme is in there, and it's one of my favorites.
Oh,
And
same.
it is just Armored Clad Faith.
I'm a cloud of fire.
I'm sorry, did you expect the big burly guy to be talking about society? No? Well, just listen. It is just hits so hard in the face.
And it's so good that every character's theme goes through their personal story throughout the song. Like Bridget is self-discovery. Axel is how he's a man out of time. Potemkin just trying to understand what his role is in society now that the fighting's over. And Faust. Oh, poor Faust.
For Faust, he doesn't deserve it.
Can you
Well-
play his track, but skip to the slow part, because you don't get to that in the fights. It's so heartbreaking to hear the song of this man who is insane. His brain won't shut up, but thinking about his wife brings him a moment of clarity.
Gotta respect that.
And though she did pass away, he still holds on to her in his own chaotic way.
The
That's
best
right.
of ways.
Well, maybe not so how Faust handles it, but
And not the best of ways.
He's trying.
He's trying.
yeah, he can't help it. He was doing so good. He had 100%. He lost one patient. He went insane. I think that's a bit of a jump there, but still.
Also, minor shout out to Love the Subhuman Self. It's just a banger song. I don't care if you play it or not. It's just fun.
Play Guilty Gear Strive. Anyway.
Yeah, okay.
Not sponsored.
That's enough of the hard-hitting beats. Let's get back to what music is supposed to do. Get you nice and in the moment, nice and emotional. And you know, I can't think of any other game I would want to represent that bit besides the OST of Celeste.
Oh, I was thinking about this one. It's a good soundtrack.
It's so beautiful. It just, the moments of breaths of fresh air, the confounding pressure that she puts on herself, that she struggles through, and every time makes it through every obstacle that gets in her way, even when she's knocked down all the way back to the bottom of the mountain. Her tracks are still hopeful, even in the darkest of times.
What? Like what track, Sam?
Oh, for example, let's just start with First Steps. A nice, clean introduction for getting your bearings in the game and just learning how it works before it gets crazy with, say, something like Spirit of Hospitality.
That one's kind of sad.
It is really sad, but it doesn't really put the pressure on you as much as, say, Anxiety does. Or In the Mirror. There's just so many songs in this track that means so much to both Madeline, her struggle, her emotions, and your own connection to them. It is a beautiful experience. I recommend everyone at least play the game, if not just listen to the soundtrack.
I think I might. This looks pretty interesting.
Oh, Celeste is
I
a
need to play this game at some point.
Celeste is a great game. I've played it. I've played it a couple times, and I've beaten it. And the story and storytelling are handled very well. The music is really good. The platforming is hard but challenging, and it's got a fair difficulty scale. Sam got her trans rep in, so nice.
Oh, I had to twice.
One of the things I will say I love about this game is that, well, compared to, like, say, Dark Souls, where, like, one of the biggest memes, they get good and just, like, get better and stuff like that. Celeste is one of the few games that knows it's difficult, knows it's hard, and just says it's fine. It's okay if you don't want to get further. You can stop if you ever want to. It's okay. And I don't think a lot of people learn to respect that kind of viewpoint often.
It's a great experience. And I have to get my rep in there.
Live your life.
If you
definitely
didn't,
helped
I
me.
probably would have, Sam. So, guys, Celeste is one of the soundtrack is really good. And honestly, it fits the areas and the storytelling, which if you can, it's not always easy to combine the elements of the story with the area you're in to feel totally fitting. But I think Celeste does it really well.
It's a masterclass in both indie games, storytelling, and music. Especially with the musician's own transition herself.
Play Celeste, it is so worth it. I don't think it's that expensive either. I think it's like $10, $20,
$10-ish.
somewhere around there. No, yeah, it's pretty fairly priced.
And also, yes, I do mean that. While making the music, the composer did discover herself as well.
Good for
Oh,
them.
that's sweet.
Good for them.
Respect.
That being said, we're gonna move on to another trans icon. Not really. I'm sorry. He's not a trans icon. He could be. He's definitely a trans ally. No, not even. He's just kind of a gaming icon. I'll go with Super Mario Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this one's just magical.
I would have been upset if there wasn't at least one Mario game on here.
I wouldn't say he's an ally, but he's definitely up there with quality of music.
Oh yeah, no. Mario Galaxy. For those that don't know, first of all, this music is entirely orchestrally composed. So
Which I am a sucker for.
yeah, so I think there's like maybe one or two exceptions, but even those might be orchestrally composed, as far as I'm aware. So that's already benefits because not most soundtracks can't get it orchestrally composed, at least not until a remaster or something at best. So you've already got organic music to begin with, and every song in the game both has a bit of a spacey vibe and still fits like the idea of the galaxy that they're in. Some of my favorites are Beach Bowl Galaxy. Which I think is also used for another galaxy, but I'm not too sure off the top of my head. There's another one similar. But I also like the Red Star theme. And then honestly, even before you get into the galaxies, I like the theme, the mission select theme. It just gets you ready for each individual level. Mario Galaxy it's just so good. It's also partly a nostalgia pick for me, and it hits everything so well. And the best part is almost every galaxy has its own theme. There's a couple exceptions here and there, and then there's like one-off galaxies that have just one mission in them, so they reuse other themes. There's not always a point to do that, but they all have, and the ones that have water have both a regular theme and an underwater theme. So you got a mix. There is one others that everyone knows is Gusty Garden Galaxy, because that theme is just iconic for the game. But most tracks in the game you cannot go wrong with. Of course, you know, if you go to the library area in the observatory, you got Rosalina's theme. You have the observatory's theme itself, which is great. Which
Easily one of the best hub themes just ever.
A, I love Mario Galaxy. B, I love Mario Galaxy soundtrack. It is adventurous, and every beat, every song is right there where it needs to be. You got the creepy islands. You got
I like the concept of having one track for underwater and one track for not. There's only really, I think, one other series off the top of my head that does that.
Yeah, Mario is pretty good with that. Where it's the same theme, but it's as if it was underwater, so they changed it a little, like the notes and stuff.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I just don't hear it very often. I think Banjos is the only other series that I've ever played that employs that.
I think you're right. Zelda might have done it here and there, but I don't recall.
If they have, I don't remember it because
I don't recall them doing it.
Yeah, Link doesn't do a lot of Link doesn't do a lot of underwater stuff.
Possibly Ratchet and Clank, but I don't know. I'm not.
Water Temple aside, Deadlock.
Well, no, I don't even think Water Temple does.
But yeah, Mario Galaxy. This is my last one that was potentially going to be sniped, so I wanted to get that out there.
Not bad.
It was a wise one too.
Yeah, I had to go with the best. Again, we're putting in our one entry per franchise rule here because there's a lot of OSTs out there, and some series, the individual games all have great. So I had to go with the best Mario theme. All right, well, Deadlock, I've spewed my song. Not the best way to phrase it, but I worded it that way. So Deadlock, please.
Well, I say we continue the platformer train, and for this next one, I think I'm gonna go with one that's just memorable: A Hat in Time.
Oh, we got indies out here.
Love
I
that.
told you to keep the indie train going, but you know what? We can keep the platformer train going.
This works.
One of the things I just like about it is just how much diversity this soundtrack can also get. You can just get like your silent, like noir sounding ones like Murder on the Owl Express. Calm, peaceful ones like Clock Towers Beneath the Sea. Some that are just completely and utterly sassy, like, oh, it's you. And then you also just have like some of the many like intense ones. Like for example, Train Rush that just gets more and more speedy and crazy as you run out of time.
That one made me anxious.
Rhythm Jump Studio, which is just a great like little piece of music just for hopping around as platforms disappear and reappear. Rush Hour, that's just a fun one to go through like a metro. And how about Mustache Girl EX, which is literally just like bullet hell 3D.
Mustache
Like
Girl
this
can
one is
eat
just
ass.
manic.
It-
So many of these pieces are just like great. I just cannot keep gushing about it. And even if with like all the hecticness that can happen out, that's fine. We still got peace and tranquility.
It's been a while since I've played a Hat in Time. I remember it being the game is just really fun to begin with. The soundtrack I don't quite remember because it's been like 3-4 years since I last played it. And I've only played it one time, but it is a really good game, really nice soundtrack. And there is one theme in the manor where you have, I forget what the witch's name is, who is just like it turns into a horror game for a brief segment.
Vanessa, I think your name was.
I think you're right. I think it was Vanessa. So
That chapter is basically just a short trip into being a horror game.
Yeah.
And you feel the tension with its music.
Every time I hear temporary horror game, I always think back to that bastard piano in Super Mario 64.
Oh, this is worse. This is much worse. back to the soundtrack. Like so much of it, you could just have like environmentals. You can have music themed. You can have intense and just bombastic. You can have like quiet and just like peaceful, or just someone that you could just chill out to. Like you'll find something you like in this OST. I guarantee it.
It's true. Again, support the indie devs, because goddamn, they really put a lot into their music for some reason. I don't know why the indie devs do so well with music, but they do.
It's a constant. It has to be.
You're not a good indie dev if you don't have good music. That's just the rule, apparently.
No.
Nope.
You are. It's just that you get the passionate musicians. Because they want to be in your project.
Support the
So,
indie.
Chris, how can you follow up from this?
Well, it's interesting you mention indie devs being particularly good with music, because I'm going to posit Undertale.
Fucking called it.
Alright. You know what? I didn't think anyone else would pick Undertale.
It had the memorable music.
It
I-
absolutely did.
To pick just one track from this game would be damn near impossible. Thankfully, we get to pick at least 3, so I don't have to worry about that. So I would put forward, obviously, you can't have a pick like this without having Megalovania.
Easily one of the best ones. You would not be forgiven for not experiencing in game.
Sans is very good at his job.
We're not playing these for ourselves right now, but I still hear the song.
Of course you do. And then,
As
of
you
course,
should.
then another one of my personal favorites is Asgore.
Yeah, it's a personal favorite of mine, too.
Well, I like how it's almost like a reprise and a remix of Heartbreak, which I thought was really cool. And
Which
my
makes
final
sense.
pick, I got to give Muffet some love, Spider Dance.
Yes.
I agree. There is a remix version of it that I prefer more, but the song
Me
itself
too,
is
yeah.
solid.
Yes, there have been several, and that's another good thing about Undertale, is there have been so many like fan redos and remixes and orchestral compositions. Like, even if you don't like the bass version of the track that exists in the game, because, I'll admit, if you're not into the kind of 16-bit soundy music tracks, that's fine. There is a version online that will appeal to you. I can almost guarantee you that.
Yeah. There's a reason why Pokemon brought Toby Fox on for Scarlet Violet.
Easily.
And for Sword and Shield with the Battle Towers.
Right, he did have a song in that too. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
2 more I would like to add on to that, though, being either of Undyne's themes, which is either just like heroic in a silly way or in an absolutely serious, this is my last stand way. Or just the absolutely goofy Bone Trussel.
I was gonna say Bone Trousel is so good.
I gotta throw in the waterfall theme. It's a personal favorite.
Ooh,
Or Snowden. Snowden.
I
is
mean,
also
if we're all adding in themes ourselves, I might as well throw Metaton's theme in there.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
one?
It's Death by Glamour, right? Is that
Death
one?
by
that
Glamour.
one.
Death by
Yeah.
Glamour.
Again,
Wonderful.
good theme. There is a remix version I prefer more, but again, that's what we were just talking about. So,
Yeah, well, one of the more interesting things about the soundtrack I remember is that it doesn't actually work on a typical music scale. Most music is like on a 12-note scale, whereas this soundtrack is on a 24-note one. There's a whole bunch of like half-note in-betweens that you'll find if you pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
Toby Fox is a musical genius. I will not hear otherwise.
And you want to know something else cool? There is a chance, however slight, that the Pope has heard this soundtrack and agrees with us.
It's
Love
true.
you, Matt Pat.
His Holiness himself may well concede that we are correct in our assessment here.
All right, Chris, that was quite a few points added to your list for me.
Easily.
Well, that's good.
One thing I will say, just like we're not even done. Like we're about halfway, a little more than that. And I still cannot pinpoint who's my favorite so far.
I do want to add
that
one.
good of picks.
I do want to add one little thing to the Undertale one, because I don't remember if it plays in the game, but there is a song that's part of the soundtrack where it has actual vocals to it. I forget what it's called, but it's it's short. It's only like a minute long, maybe even less than that. It might be like 40 seconds. It's sung by a female singer, so it could be Temi for as far as I know. I don't know for certain, but I'll look it up. I'll put the name right here. There it is on the screen. Take a listen to that, because it has lyrics, so I don't like putting lyric songs in the videos too much sometimes. Although we're doing samples. You know what? Put a sample in. No, go listen to the full song, actually, because it doesn't do justice. Just listen to the full thing.
Make up your mind.
I've been indecisive. Undertale does that to you.
Yeah.
Well, then, moving right along, you'll forgive me, Zach, for scoring a couple more points from you, because I'm going with Super Smash Bros. Melee.
All right. You got basically got a compilation there.
I do. Smash Brothers is one of those games that has a fun little tendency of giving you versions of songs that exist in other games and remixing them for brutally beating the brakes off of somebody, and I am here for it 24/7, 365. The ones I'm putting forward are Menu 1, and this is the one that first plays when you boot up the game. You get past the start menu and you start your mode selection and everything else. As a kid, when I heard this song, you knew shit was about to go down.
I know.
Sorry.
I mixed it up with the brawl.
And that whole thing is like remixing a whole few other pieces as well.
Not the brawl one, the melee one. Like
I know,
this was my childhood.
I played all the three first ones. I played all of them a pretty equal amount, I'd say, but I mixed it up in my head.
Then the next one I'm going to put forward is the melee version of the Fire Emblem theme. Which, funnily enough...
that's like my favorite song in the game, so that's...
Yeah, that was not only the reason why Hyrule Temple was my favorite level, but it was also, funnily enough, what got me into the Fire Emblem series was that track.
I was personally a Martha Roy main.
And then my final one, an original from the game itself, Multiman Melee 1. And that one is just peak hype material. Like that one, it gets you ready to take a swing on somebody. It really does.
I'm sorry, what game was it? Because I was trying to let me know again.
Multi-Man Melee 1.
Oh. Yes, definitely. I agree with that.
Because I'm aware there is a Multi-Man Melee 2, probably hence the nomenclature, but 1 will forever take the gold for me.
And probably eat it too.
And I believe the Fire Emblem thing, like I know in that game, I think it was just called Fire Emblem when it was a remix of a track called Together We Ride that features in a couple of the Fire Emblem games.
Together We Ride is just a great one.
And Smash somehow made it better.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because I had no idea that series even existed. I had no idea who the fuck Marth and Roy were, but I heard that song and I'm like, I don't care. I don't even know who you are. I like you.
If I recall, that's what introduced Fire Emblem to the West, so...
It was.
I believe so. Yeah.
So
Also, the drums in the Melee version are just, they hit so hard for making
Yes,
it a
they
fight
do.
song.
I mean,
That
so,
and like
I was gonna say a
as far
saxophone
as-
or the
that
trumpet,
and
whatever.
I was gonna say, and that's just what I was about to say. Is the trumpets? Is as far as Pokemon goes, I'm a Hoenn baby, so I love trumpets in my soundtracks.
Fuck yeah.
Mhm.
But it sounds amazing, and I'm here for pretty much every single thing that that Melee did. Like I love how the Dream Fountain level, that one's default track was a, funnily enough, slowed down version of Gourmet Race, which I didn't think would work, but does.
Oh, Sam was with me when I was editing the last draft video, and I was pitching some of the stuff down. But just pitching stuff down, slowing it down, and speeding it up can make it sound better.
Yes. And I would never have thought that slowing down Gourmet Race would make it better, and I was left pleasantly surprised.
That is probably my favorite version of Gourmet Race, to be fair.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's technically like they slow it down slightly from being a race to being a fight,
Exactly.
which is
Yeah,
still
'cause it's
quick,
still,
but
like,
not
'cause
as
it-
quick.
Because it's got that slow melodic opening, but then it does pick a little back up once the fists start flying. Good track all around.
Oh yeah. By the way, just so people understand, because I probably already put in the video, we're throwing 3 songs out there to represent the OST, but we're considering the whole OST for the ranking. So we're just giving examples. I can't play the whole
Yeah.
OST; it's just not going to work.
It's impossible. We would be here day and night and into the week.
You might actually contend for longest video on YouTube if you did that.
I don't think so. I think Lo-Fi got that.
Oh, yeah, you're right. But regardless, I appreciate the game. I adore the soundtrack, and it is there. It is written. It is the 4th pick, De Fejas.
I say that those are 2 very powerful picks in a row for me. Your first 2 weren't quite there for me, but those 2 are definitely making up for me.
Well, I'm glad to hear I can reach your demographic.
It's almost like picking Smash is cheating, though.
It says the person who picked Final Fantasy 14. I want to hear it.
Admittedly, hold on. I'm willing to concede that it may be something of a cop-out, but Menu 1 and Multiman Melee 1 are original to the game, and Fire Emblem is a much better version of a track that I don't think the Fire Emblem games have used in years.
I
They
think
really have
to-
it.
to
It's
be-
criminal.
I say to be
Personally, I'm a
fair,
fan of Brawls, but
I
Melee's
was-
not a bad one.
I was going to say Ultimates, but honestly, you can't go wrong with any of them.
Ultimate is just cheating, though. I feel like.
It definitely is.
Ultimate-
Well,
Ultimate is heavy
Melee was
cheating.
Melee was where I heard it first, and plus, like, just that menu theme and the Multiman Melee theme, they just do it for me in a way that Brawl and Ultimate just can't.
I'm going to say I'm
Brawls has
pretty
a few
sure.
unique versions, including one of my favorite. What is it? Final Destination theme versions.
I mean, those are always good, though.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure Smash Melee is also like all originally recomposed for that. I don't think any of them are just copy paste from any of the games that they used. Anyway, Dilek, we're going too long on this collection of songs. You need to go right now.
Oh my god! There's just too many choices. But you know what? I'm a Dark Souls guy, so I have to go with Hollow Knight.
God damn it! I was.
Sam was doing so good up until this point.
You yanked the rug out from
I
under.
finally get to take one from you. Okay, but in all seriousness,
I heard
oh my
Dark Souls
god!
and I had some hope.
What can you say about Hollow Knight when it just comes to like indie games? Like this game is just dripping with atmosphere, and nowhere is it more poignant than right off the main theme. It's quiet, it's somber, it is just a little bit sad, and you just can't help but feel for like things are not going to end well for no matter how you go down. And this theme might as well just be the theme for the vessels themselves, because you will also hear this theme within Sealed Vessel. Broken Vessel. and even Pure Vessel if you want to go after the gods themselves.
No gods.
Each one of these just has so much of a different vibe, but yet incorporates its main theme. And you just can't help but feel for all of these characters. But that's not even like the extent of this one. It has great environmental themes such as Kingdom's Edge, City of Tears, Green Path. So many just different areas and locales that just have such vibrant differences from each other. Like I already said, Kingdom's Edge, it just feels like quiet and ashen, like the area itself. Green Path is just like vibrant and lush. But then again, we also have the numerous boss themes, such as the Sisters of Battle, or even just like, oh my god, the Mantis Lords, which is their precursor.
Lords.
The nightmarish and haunting Nosk.
God.
Deluxe just go through the whole soundtrack, apparently.
I'm just going through a lot of my favorites because, dear God,
How can
so
you
many of them
not?
are great. Like, Gods and Glory, you are out to just take on every single boss to this.
Mind if I add one real quick?
Sure, but I'll add two more.
Hornet's theme.
Hornet is also a good one as well.
So fun.
I mean, are we including the tracks from Gods and Nightmares in this too?
That I literally just said Gods and Glory.
Oh, well then Grim Troop and Nightmare King for sure.
Yeah, Grimm himself is just amazing. It is so gothic and theatrical. But I feel like I would also be remiss without mentioning the holy yet evil Radiance. So many different ways, so many just different atmospheres and feels. And then you also just have fun ones like the Dung Defender. Like, this is not a happy game by no stretch of the imagination. But you can still find like slivers of hope and happiness in this, as well as you're just taking down and dismantling everything that's just causing all the problems. Things are going down by the end of it. It's just a matter of whether you can just come out on top or at all.
Gotta love a game with a nihilistic approach.
Have to, but I can.
I mean, you could call it nihilistic, but you can also just call it just trying everything you can to just fix things. Just like hope against the odds.
It's funny, we finally have a pick that was sniped from Sam after all this time.
I was gonna say I don't think that's happened yet, has it?
It has not.
It was doomed to happen at some point.
I'm
The
just glad
prophecy.
to finally be able to get one up on you.
Delk was trying so
played.
hard.
Well played.
Alright, well, unless Delk has any final notes here, I think it's my turn. He didn't say anything, so I'm choosing to believe he doesn't.
Nope.
All right.
Just keep going.
So
Take two.
I don't think anyone was going to snipe this one, so I save it for now. But arguably, this is probably the best soundtrack of the games that I picked so far, and I'm okay with this. I'm going with Xenoblade Chronicles 1.
Definitely a good one there.
So it's almost unfair because the soundtrack is huge. It has so many songs to it. But just to give a few, and honestly, there's only a couple that, well, no, there's not only a couple, but there's a couple that I default to. Satoral Marsh at Night. I always forget the name of this one. Valak Mountain. And then for the last one, I forget the name of it, but there's this theme that you experience early on, and it is very somber. I believe I think it's called face. I'll put it on screen. You'll know for sure. But I'm blanking off the top of my head of its name. Where it's just the game is so good at being atmospheric. So it's again, Satoru Marsh is at night specifically is so beautiful. During the day, it's just kind of a swampy area. It's very gross, very gray and muddy looking and foggy. But at night, the trees and everything light up into these beautiful like neon, pink, red, blues, and it becomes a beautiful area. And the music helps accentuate how peaceful it is. Like there is stuff you can fight, and but it's so good at setting up the atmosphere for the area. And then other themes you have, of course, you have your varied battle themes of fighting, the mechons and everything, where it just goes to this hard rock. And I've talked about it during the final boss tier list. One of the best final boss themes, Zanza's theme, is so hard, where you have basically a choir going on as you're fighting him with pianos, guitar, drums. You got all this stuff going on. It's crazy how varied the soundtrack really is when you really go and listen to it. And most of the time, it's just background music for you while you're just adventuring. And you know it's there, you listen to it, and you're just like, yeah, I'm having a nice time. Just, world's dying, but I'm just enjoying what's going on.
I've always been partial to, how do you pronounce it? The Gwar Plains?
Yeah, I think it's Gwar Plains.
I think it's Gower, like Gower. I think it's how they say it.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's one of the ones that made it into Smash.
It is.
It is. It better have. That's literally the stage.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
I wish they had a better stage of Smash, but hey, that's neither here nor there right now.
I mean, it's definitely a memorable one. It's like the moment. It's like one of the few areas. Like the moment you start playing the games, like
I'm just saying,
this is gonna be good.
If you haven't played through if you have played through Xenoblade Chronicles, you know there's better stages. But Gower Plains is so early in the game that it's understandable.
Like, it immediately strikes you as like, yeah, this is gonna be amazing.
It serves as a nice layer for the introductory cake.
It is
I need
good.
to play through this game because I own it, but I haven't gotten a chance.
It is long.
I own it. I have started it. I have yet to complete it.
I'm pretty sure I gave it to you as a gift.
A long time ago, you did, yes.
By the way, speaking of battle themes, my favorite one from the game probably has to be One Who Gets in Our Way. That one is just like immediately in your face, just get ready to go.
Forget whose theme that is. I think
it's one of the like boss themes that gets used a lot again. But you can just tell by the first few riffs, like it's go time.
Yeah, the game's really good at transitioning from some like a sad or like empathetic mood to
or like the more quiet or like tragic pieces. Just like no, we're fighting now.
Yeah, the soundtrack as a whole is so good, but like I said, I knew no one was probably going to pick this one, so I waited on it, so just in case my other picks were going to get sniped, which thankfully did not happen.
I think I'll also say like Xenoblade is also one of those soundtracks that really is good because like a lot of pieces you can just like stand on its own together, but Xenoblade also has them like build off of each other and actually like go from one to the other without it being awkward or like out of nowhere.
It's true. A lot of
they transition very well into each other.
Because most of the time they have to, because a lot of times you'll go from, like I was saying, you'll go from a cutscene where your character talking about the loss they've experienced to them having to fight something. So they have to transition well into each other.
Yeah, it's like a very good aspect for a soundtrack to be able to do.
Yeah, it has to be seamless, and from what I've seen of it, they do it very well.
It does it very well.
You have to play the rest of the game, Chris, and let me know what you think.
That I will.
That being said, Sam, finish off our round 4, please.
I was displeased by this round 4. One would even say that I'm pretty miffed, angry even. I need revenge. I need something hard. Machine! Bring me on Ultra Kill. This game's OST is so hard-hitting, fast-paced, and gut-punchingly exciting that it just makes you want to go and get out of hell or go deeper into it. I don't know what's happening in the story because I haven't finished it yet, but holy shit, it punches as hard as you punch your bullets.
Oh,
I actually am not familiar with this one at all.
This is basically Doom, but you're a machine.
Interesting.
Pretty much.
what was the game? What was the game called again? I'm sorry, I didn't hear
Ultra
it.
Kill.
Oh,
Ultra
Ultra
Kill.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
And if you know anything about Doom, then you know how hard this soundtrack probably has to slap.
And this is a hard-hitting soundtrack. Everything from verses to the just nice playing of Gabriel's organ. It is
He's definitely got a good one there.
it is so fun and so aggravatingly hard that when you finally beat the challenge in front of you, it feels so good that I wish I had Hollow Knight.
Wow, you really made Sam by taking that one. Sam mad.
Also, just to throw it in there, I'm gonna put the Death of God's Will with guitar. The Death of God's Will.
Why does this soundtrack hit so hard? Oh wait a minute, it's Doom. What do I expect?
It's pretty much.
And it hits harder than Doom, in my opinion.
I do not know if I agree or disagree with that.
Doom
See-
hits really hard, but this is
Like again, I don't know whether to agree or disagree. I genuinely
hard.
don't know.
I gotta actually play this game and see for myself.
Yeah, I've heard of this one. I've seen, I think, a trailer or two, but I never actually played it.
It is. I feel sorry for your fingers because you're gonna need a keyboard for this.
Oh no.
If you even have them when they're done.
Yeah.
I might watch an LP.
I'll see your keyboards in hell. That's where I'm going.
Well, this is the first pick on your list that I'm unfamiliar with, Sam, so.
Oh, well, it might not be the last. But
Right.
before we get to that one, we do have to go through some nice honorable mentions.
That we do.
Ah, my ears, that was so much.
I didn't know.
I know, right?
Man,
I feel things now.
You two are going to look like some jackasses, because remember what I said before we started recording, how there are going to be 2 changes?
Yeah?
We're not doing an honorable mention because this list is one of the ones we can do again. It's too broad a topic, and we can't just throw some honorable mentions to waste like that. We got to save them for the next one.
Well, then you need to put at least one track in that thing so we don't sound like idiots.
Nope.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna catch all of you off guard, because I'm going with a game that has yet to be released.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
This
And I'm
is suspicious.
bringing in the Disney masterpiece of Billy Bust Up.
What the fuck is this?
what?
I-
Mark?
I am not familiar in the least.
Oh,
Please
God.
explain.
Question marks.
Billy Bust Up is a wonderful little musically inclined game a la classic Disney and all that, where all the boss fights are wonderful villain songs, for just such as "I've Had Enough of You."
You've been nothing but a thorn in my side since day one. But I am from Tokyo, the great, and I'll not be outdone. Welcome.
And the gruesome malevolence of a million gruesome ways to die.
Now where do you think you're going? The party is this way! And trust me, it's to die for! I know we'll be the best of...
The songs they've released so far have been so amazing, and it comes back to that again. I love singing along to songs that I can understand and sing to. And both these songs are so catchy and so full of that old Disney villain vibe. It's such a fun time. I implore you to, at the very least, listen to the song, and if you can, play the demo.
The concept of like boss fights with accompanying songs, it kind of puts me in mind of Oogie's Revenge.
Oh, also, I should say that it's a rhythm-based platformer.
Interesting.
People are mixing the rhythm genre with other genres more often these days, so
Hey, I'm here for it. That's how you breathe fresh life into stuff.
As long as the music slaps, that's really the best part of it.
it's true.
Dude,
But
for
I also
real.
don't. It's true, but I also don't want to give Disney my money. But
It's good thing it's an indie game and not Disney.
hey, there we go. I'm all for it now.
And that's what
Hooray,
we
down with capitalism.
And that's the real Disney magic.
Yeah, just give Billy your money. They'll probably use it to feed their fox.
Conform to the
And-
mouse.
Yes, you can pet the fox. It's already been confirmed.
Well,
All right.
I'm gonna look that up if nothing else.
yeah, that
Yep.
one caught my interest. So, oh wait, it's my turn.
It is
It
your
is.
turn.
Wow, interesting. You know what?
Go on.
I'm
Put
gonna.
that PXT on your
We're coming to the end of the list, so you know what? I think we got to wind down a little bit. We got to take a day off. And plus we got some other stuff we got to get done. You know. So, it's a good thing there's a new song every hour. I'm going with Animal Crossing Wild World.
Yep.
Eh,
I'm specifically choosing Wild World because some of the later versions don't have a song every hour. You fucking cowards.
Mhm.
And not only that, some of the themes change based on the weather or time of year. So if it's raining, So if it's raining or snowing, the songs have like different instruments used.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and again, fuck you, New Animal Crossing. New Horizons is for cowards.
I was gonna say like that's the one that I've been predominantly playing these days, and they don't do that.
Yeah, New Horizons does a lot right, but even more wrong, in my opinion, as an old Animal Crossing player. But that aside, you got a few themes. I forget which one it is, but there's 1 AM and 3 AM. One of the two of them is really good. I can't remember which one, but editing me will know. Of course, you have just honestly, I can't even tell you which theme is which because they're all good. Just put in two, you know what? Editing me, just put in two other random times here. Just two random times for the day. There you go.
I always fondly remember 4 p.m. from the original game.
Maybe that's the one I was thinking of for the first one. Point being, it's just it's so peaceful no matter what time you're playing, and each hour feels different. I don't remember which song it was. There's one that happens I think later in the day that goes din din din. I always think of summer when I hear it, and memories flash back of me sitting on my friend's porch playing Animal Crossing in summer, trading fruits and all that stuff. It's so nostalgic and so relaxing. Like you feel like you can do whatever you want, but you don't need to. You could just, if you just want to, plant some flowers, talk to your villagers who actually have personalities in those games, just do that. And take, just
Like, go fishing, catch bugs.
relax. It's
Do
not
whatever you want.
Yeah, relax. It's not mandatory, man. You know what? The internet, it's not real at this time. It's there, but no one's telling you how to play the game. You just play how you want. You don't have to make your house look perfect. You just get the robo set. You make your house look all robotic. It's all good.
And look, as much as Tom Nook is an evil landlord, at least he doesn't give you a due date.
True, and his
Is he really evil then?
he's really not. But and Tom Nook's theme is pretty good too.
It
You're not
is.
convinced me that a landlord is not evil.
To say
Tom Nook-
nothing of the wonderful tracks that KK provides.
True, it's honestly KK is almost unfair. Not with my favorite song. Now I like because I just got so excited. Out of the whole game is the title theme.
Respect.
I'm getting emotional now thinking about it.
Yeah, I actually haven't played Wild World. I played the original City Folk, and then I took a hiatus until New Horizons.
There was only one game in between City Folk and New Horizons, unless you count the board game. But most people don't count the board game.
Which one was
For
New
some
Leaf?
reason.
New Leaf was the
New
3DS.
Leaf?
Yeah, that was
Okay.
that was the one between New Horizons and City Folk.
Okay.
It was good, but it wasn't enough. I'll tell you, that's really all it is. And the New Horizons, that's where they just start taking away all the personality that the individual animals had and everything. That's the main problem. And like I said, all the different hourly themes. In New Horizons, there's like 5 different songs.
Yeah, not big for music, that one.
No, so New Horizons could have been great, but they just didn't reach it. And not to mention all the stuff they didn't bring back. So we had to fight for Froggy Chair. But yeah,
Here's a TV that looks like an apple.
Animal Crossing Wild World.
Nice. All right, Dad. Wrap your list up.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I was expecting a few more to maybe have been crossed off my list, but
Oh, don't worry. Now you know you can save it for next time.
There
I
was only-
will have to remember that because I'll be honest, I think I'm going to go with my introduction to mostly Japanese folklore and music as well. This is going to be Okami.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Very nice.
Where do I even begin with this one? So much of this soundtrack is either magical, just whimsy, or even just like terrifying and cruel. Like, just listen to like the cursed Sinshu field, and you'll just see how despaired everything feels. Which actually makes perfect contrast to when you actually cleanse the place and it's actually its normal self.
It's a good thing you did it because I was going to make that transition myself. But yeah,
And then there's just like all the other things, like for example, Kyushi's ride, who's like in a bit of a hurry to get to places. The peaceful quiet of any of the villages. Seriously, just put one here. Any of them would be nice to have. or just sorrowful goodbye or promises kept for how much like things are just ending on a very tearful note. But of course, this is also you being a god trying to face off a bunch of demons. And we got definitely a bunch of demons, such as Orochi, the twin demons Lechku and Nechku, or even just the Ninetales himself. All of them just have such good themes that are just like both powerful, fit the characters as well, like especially with Lechku and Nechku feeling like a frozen clockwork kind of theme. And then there's also just Emperor of Eternal Darkness. Like, dear God, everything just gets taken away from you, and now you're just listening to this as you're just trying to fight in vain? How do you just get better than that? Oh yeah, that's right, this fight also ends with the sun rises. Seriously, you could just go through like all this music, just at any point, any place, and it's just perfect Japanese styled music that you've just come to associate it with. And each one is just both pleasant or just terrifying. It just feels the atmosphere very well each and every point, and you're just left for wanting more.
Probably has one of the most solid soundtracks. It knows its identity and it sticks to it. You gotta give it credit for that.
I mean, I hope it would. I mean, just look at the art style itself. Like, the whole thing is basically just brushstrokes against the freaking scrolls. You just want to actually just embody it, and this game embodies it to a T.
It does. If you haven't played Okami, because it is that good.
If the brushworks aren't art, then the music and the actual visual design is.
Oh, absolutely.
This game's biggest downside was having to compete with Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, which was doing similar things with, like, you know, being a wolf and everything.
I was just saying the downside is it ends.
Also, itself a good soundtrack.
I wouldn't know. I haven't played that one yet.
Like, that's like the only thing I can do it, because like you just look past that one comparison at the time, and you just see how much more this game has to offer. It is just so good for what it needs to be. And this soundtrack helps sell it on its uniqueness. So how will we wrapping this up?
Well, I am going to wrap this up with an example that, frankly, I was keeping on the back burner. I was wholeheartedly convinced one of you guys was going to snipe it, but you didn't, which means I get to wrap up my list with it, and I'm going to take you into the future. Or is it the past? Really depends on the version. We're going Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
I did contemplate about this one, but I decided not yet. So
the contemplation was there, but since none of y'all took it, I'm taking it. So as mentioned before, they brought on Toby Fox from Undertale, and if you can find one person on the dev team who regrets that decision, send them my way. I will escort them out the nearest window. But trick question, because that person does not exist. You have
out the window.
But what I love is the ambiance that a lot of these tracks capture, like specifically the Area Zero theme.
It's a good one.
Oh my god.
And then, of course, I feel these days, especially, Pokemon is known for pulling off battle themes very well. So I'm going to go ahead and posit the Team Star battle theme.
Personal favorite.
And it would not be this list without my personal favorite, Penny's battle theme. Like every single track in this game slaps harder than a Russian slap boxer, and I am here for it.
I was gonna yell at you if you didn't put Penny's theme in there.
Oh, dude, Penny's theme is like, we all remember where we were when Penny's theme dropped.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
In school.
Speaking of Team Star, though, you gotta include their boss in it. Like, dear God.
Yeah, absolutely.
I also love that it's like in universe, actually composed by one of the characters, just for that extra bit of flavor.
That is nice. I will also throw in the AI professor theme.
Oh,
gonna say
It's easily one of the best in the series.
And there is actually, I know for a fact, there is an orchestral version of that one online that is done so well. I will drop it in the chat later. But I actually took that one and turned it around to use as the backdrop for a boss fight in D&D.
When that came out, I gifted everyone a copy of one of the copies of the game. I was so waiting for Chris to get to that part because I wanted to know his reaction.
No, the AI professor theme is, gods, that's good.
And
especially for a hard fight.
And since I don't know about Sam, but I know the other two don't have the DLC. The DLC has some pretty good music too. Kitakami, the first DLC, has a lot of good Japanese themed music. And then the second for Blueberry Academy has a lot of music similar to Unova, since the Blueberry Academy is in Unova.
Interesting.
Well, I've been playing through the Kitakami, but I've been skipping the story and I've been listening to other stuff. So maybe I have to go back and redo those.
I'll tell you this, Blueberry's better, but
I've heard. That's why I've been ignoring everything.
Yeah, but as a whole, the soundtrack is solid. Like the individual area, God, now if only Pokemon actually made the game, it would be better.
There is one thing I will add about this, just for a personal preference and also part of a gripe. It's no secret that this game has been in a broken state for a while and has had many issues with it. And both fortunately and unfortunately, that also extended to the actual soundtrack with the Elite Four.
Yeah.
And this may be just me, but I actually kind of like the broken version a bit more.
I think that was just you. I don't think anyone else did.
No,
it definitely just gives it a huge different feel to it. Like I can understand why people are mixed at it happening, but I also feel like it has its own uniqueness to it that just makes it that much more foreboding and like, oh, this is actually it.
Yeah, like I said, I'm a Hoenn baby, and Gen 3's Elite Four theme really set the bar high for me.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's like that at all, but like, even when the game breaks, the soundtrack still stands, even when it's the target.
Yeah, now Pokemon can actually make
something amazing.
And personally speaking, while the newest generation is really good at music, it's not my personal favorite when it comes to which gen has the best music, in my opinion.
Everyone will have their favorites, let's be honest, but
that's why I'm saying my next
it would
list.
be hard to say this game was bad, because it wasn't with its music.
You can't go wrong with basically any of the Pokemon games.
It's true. None of them are bad. I wouldn't say any of them have bad soundtrack. Even if you go back to like the 8-bit ones, they're still pretty good for being like
for 8-bit. They do very well.
They're classics for a reason.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, getting modernized versions of them are definitely better, but they're still not bad.
I mean, let's go if you want those soundtracks.
But for
this,
this,
mention the third generation being in 6th gen, like that guy that just took like all the favorite trumpets and just blasted it on maps.
Yeah.
I love the music we used to get.
But for this franchise, Scarlet and Violet is my positive.
I do not disagree. I think I have to think.
You'd be hard pressed to.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to go against it. That being said, that is round 5 complete. Here comes the second change of what I was mentioning before we started recording. So instead of just, choosing who your favorite is, I want you guys to rank the lists in order of your favorite to least favorite.
Interesting.
We're editing.
Oh no!
to be fair, since I just brought this up, I'll give you guys a few seconds to think. I'll go first, okay? Now, obviously, you can't rank yourself, so you have to rank the other three. Which is why I wanted all four of us here today, but unfortunately... okay, so... Since I'm going...
Did we go reverse order so that Sam can do the outro?
I was just going to go first since I brought this up last second here, so you guys had a second to think. I was going to let Sam go first, and then you can still
fair
think.
enough. No, that's fine. Chaos works too.
Yeah. It'll go me first since since it's the first time we're doing this, and then Sam, Dillock, and then you. So again, I can't count myself because obviously I put me first, but I think first for me is Sam, just because Final Fantasy 14 is almost cheating for me.
Kind of is.
Strive is all like rock themes for the most part, which is right up my alley. And then Celeste, I just
all
know
genres of rock.
Yeah, and then Celeste is just a beautiful soundtrack I've known about for a while. Ultra Kill, and I don't know about, but Billy Bust Up sounds cool. Second place, I'm gonna go with Chris for me. Just you really the second half of your list sold it for me with Undertale, Melee, and Scarlet Violet. And I remember Shadow Colossus being good. Skyrim, I have such a bias against that. No matter how good the soundtrack may be, I just can't help myself.
Yeah, I knew I wasn't winning you with Skyrim.
And then Dillock, you're third, but mostly because of unfamiliarity with Kingdom Hearts, Hollow Knight, and Spyro for me.
Yeah, I gotcha. If
So
you want
Sam,
me to go next, I will just continue that.
No,
dialogue,
Sam's next.
yes,
I'm fine.
I'm only going
Okay.
first just because I've just brought this up on you guys. So
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Sam?
Want to continue.
And honestly, for my first place pick, I mean, Deadlock, you have one of my favorite dragons in gaming of all time because you play as him. You have the indie darlings with A Hat in Time and Hollow Knight, my favorite Metroidvania of all time. And then you have Okami and Kingdom Hearts, which are just fantastic. That's why I'm getting first place to Chris.
that is so mean.
I saw that coming. Saw that coming a
Because-
mile away. It's like, yep, here it goes.
Skyrim is so good as a pick, as a starter. Undertale is legendary in its quality and fantastic. Smash Melee, like Doc said with my Final Fantasy 14, it's almost cheating. And then you get a second outing with Toby Fox in Scarlet and Violet. You cannot go wrong with that list.
I would
And
give
then
you.
Deadlock, I will have to give you second because as
Fucking-
much as you stole Hollow Knight from me, it is a really good list. It's
Sam,
really good.
Sam is really mad about that steal.
And Doc,
Well,
I
still
love
gotta
your
give it-
list, but it's not as much connecting to me outside of Sonic Heroes and Majora's Mask.
It's okay. You have shit taste. That's all I'm hearing.
Yeah, I'm sorry that you haven't played Spyro on Hollow Knight.
Well, I do have to give Sam her flowers for subversion of expectation. I thought I was going to be taking the silver twice in a row.
No.
Yeah.
No.
All right, Deadlock, go. Make me sad.
I will say I will give the bronze medal to Sam. It's not that you had bad picks or anything. It's like most of the soundtracks I'm just too unfamiliar with to actually be able to just connect with them.
That's fair.
Like I'm familiar with like maybe one song in Guilty Gear, and the rest I just don't know yet at the moment. So it's hard for me to honestly just say yes to them. Wow, these two over here is like I'm very familiar with these ones and how much they actually work.
Oh, we can change that. Don't worry.
Final Fantasy 14 though, top tier. Like even on its own unique ones, it does great. But that just leaves who goes the silver medal to. And honestly, I think I'm giving the silver medal to Chris this time.
Fair enough.
Skyrim, I can understand like why people love it so much, but like it's hit or miss for me. Sometimes I will just like be nice there, but sometimes I can just also just forget it's even there, which doesn't sound good for a soundtrack to me. Meanwhile, Shadow of the Colossus, Undertale, Scarlet and Violet, like I will be hearing those music pieces in my head for weeks and months to come, easily, no problems. I would say Smash Melee, but again, like cheat sheet, it just feels disrespectful to the games that just stand on their own. Which obviously goes back to Zach having like the gold medal in this time.
Woohoo!
While Wild World I'm not the most familiar with, like Animal Crossing has always just had fantastic, calm, nice music. Xenoblade Chronicles, A tier easily. Super Mario Galaxy, I already said it earlier, I'm a sucker for like orchestral, and it's just one of the most beautiful and just awesome soundtracks out there. Majora's Mask, great. Also, just both like ambient as well as ominous, has highs and lows, happy and sad, and just like it just blends so many feelings well. And then Sonic Heroes, which is just like fun.
Of
Which,
course.
as I've said, like with Spiral the Dragon, I love having a fun soundtrack. If you have a soundtrack that encourages you to just have fun, it just makes the game even funner.
I can agree with that.
All right, rankings are kind of all over the place right now. Chris.
So the bronze medal, I must unfortunately award to Sam in a similar train of thought as Deadlock. It is not for any lack of quality, more a lack of familiarity with the source material. So that said, it is a bronze medal studded with various gemstones and with a platinum inlay. A bronze medal nonetheless, because I just simply have not been exposed to most of the stuff on your list. I think Final Fantasy XIV is the only one with which I'm familiar.
I wanted to give a unique flavor. That's why a lot of my games are indie.
I can understand that. And I'm sure and you were kind enough to drop them in the Discord as we were going, I'm sure when I go and educate myself on the material, my opinion may very well change.
Easily, same here.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially when you hear Celeste and Strive. I know you'll go crazy for Strive.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Again, I already love Protector and Steam. Like, it is easily just one of my favorites.
Yeah, the smell of the game is great too. So
Now, this for me is some stiff competition for first because you both have posted some things that, at the very least, would have made my honorable mentions had this been a normal draft list. But I gotta give the silver to Zach on this one.
damn it.
It came real close. Like, Majora's Mask and Sonic Heroes carried you a long way. They just didn't carry you as far as Kingdom Hearts, Hollow Knight, and Okami did. So, Zach gets the silver and a flowery compliment from the chef. Deadlock, you take the gold medal, you get the pizza party after you graduate.
Well played.
I'll be honest, like, it's hard to even be mad about anyone's list. Like, too many good candidates to talk about, too many good pieces within each to actually just want to listen to.
Yeah,
In fact,
so,
I'm probably going to be listening to a bunch of it right now when we are all wrapped up here.
yeah, to call any of these lists bad would be a gross inaccuracy. It's really just which one is the best or least good.
There's a lot of songs from just all of your lists that are just in my normal like playlist rotation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the bar is just definitely high with all of these. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, it's going to be nice for round 2 when the bar is basically a tripping hazard in hell.
Oh no! I mean, there's still a lot of good OSTs out there, which is why I decided in my own time that we'll revisit this topic at a later date because there's just too many good ones.
Way too many.
I mean, I'm also gonna pull up the restrictions for myself to make every one of my choices a little bit of representation on my end.
Uh-oh, she's going restraint level 0.
Uh-oh.
Now I'm not scared to put in the other ones that I have lined up in my backup list.
Well, when that topic next comes up in the rotation, we'll let you guys know.
Indeed.
As for
Have a
now,
good
though.
one, everyone.
Oh, I thought I was going to let Chris do the outro, but you know, it's all right. All right, goodbye, everybody.
Music to our ears. Later.
Good night, everybody!
Bye.